and welcome to One Called Mama. I am your host, Sam, and I'm so thankful that you decided to join us today for season 6 holiday hangups. Today, our guest is Shannon Martin. She was, you probably recognize her name. She was just in our little mini series that we had titled Grief Repurposed, and she is back with us today to talk about, all the things that we face during the holidays this time of year, and how, I don't know about you, Shannon, but things can just get so out of balance.
Yes.
And keeping that balance
Right.
is so important.
It
So
is.
I would just really love for us to talk about that. And especially from your perspective, I thought it would be so good to have you on for this because of your experience dealing with anxiety and depression and all of those things, that's your space, mental health and wellness. And so I just really thought you could give some great insight into how to have that healthy balance in the holidays and still
Right.
be able to do the things you want to do, but do it in a
Right.
healthy way.
Right. That's the good part. That's the hard part, really. But thank you for having me back. I'm
Yes.
glad to be here. But yes, the holiday season is there's so many layers to the holiday season. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
And like when you have like with me, I have three children, and they all have like their significant others. And so now we're expanding our little
Mm-hmm.
small family unit, right? So they have their persons and they have husbands and then they have their family. So now you have this extended family. So, and we're all trying to fit it all together. And that's when it becomes that juggle, that hassle, because you're dealing with their schedules and his schedules and the mothers of the other mothers and you're dealing with all of that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that was something new that we had to deal with because we didn't know what that new normal was going to look like.
Right.
So all of that really caused a lot of anxiety in the beginning because for me, because it was like I wanted to have my family at home because we were so used to being together.
Yeah.
But I knew that they also had to, were promised elsewhere, because they wanted to get to know their side, they're getting to know, and since they're on that marriage track. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to like allow that to happen. I kind of relinquished the control and say, okay, you guys do your thing. And that was really hard at first, but I had to say, okay, you raise them, and then they can go and do the other thing, do their thing. And so the first year was really challenging for me because I was like, my babies aren't here, and I'm used to having them here. And um, they went to their respective places, and they did call. And the next day, we got to hang out and they have the food. They were like, "Still cook food now because we're coming the next day." I was like, "Well, if you're coming the next day, I don't need to cook." But learning to do that, and I guess really that they were putting up their boundaries that I taught them to put up. And so they were like, Mom, okay, this is what we want to do. And I had to understand that, okay, they're putting up their boundary and I need to respect that. And so that first holiday season was kind of hard. And then when we lost my mother, which was really a big part to all of us, because the holiday season is her season. That was her jam. It's like we all were together during that time. And so that was another new normal that we also had to get used to because that was a time that we all spent with her. And she was kind of like that glue that kind of like held it all together. But now we had to learn how to not deal with her not being here. So with us going in our respective places, then we were also grieving. So it was like really a heavy time for the last 2 years for us because we were trying to get to know each other's families, but then also not having my mom or their grandma there. So it was a lot of mixed emotions at first. So we did a lot of talking, and saying, okay, now how can we, the first year when we lost her, we really made an effort. We're making an effort to be together because this is the first season without her. And that was like, we don't care what else is going on. We're going to be together for the holidays. And we really made a point to do that. And we did all the things that, she liked, favorite foods, all the things, her favorite cakes. so to pay homage to my mother. But then the second year is when they kind of branched out and said, but Christmas we were together because that was her holiday, and we weren't going to disturb that holiday. So it was really about a lot of talking. And since they're adults, I didn't realize how really adult they were. You see your kids, they're 30s and then mid-20s, you're like, okay. But they were really, Mom, this is what we see. And for them to sit down and us to just talk about it and have a great conversation about it, I was like, wow, you guys are, I did pretty good. I did pretty good with you guys. So now we had a great conversation. And also too, because it was so much on us, they were like, let's just make it easy. Let's not make it so we don't have to have all the things. Let's just have the staples. Let's just have just simple stuff.
See, that is really important. If we can talk, especially because with dealing with the death of your mother, her
Mhm.
passing, that in and of itself, I'm really glad that you said that first year you just made a point of just, no, we're gonna keep everything as status quo as we can because you're
Mhm.
grieving, and this is a transition. uh,
Right.
and then talking is so important. And
It
it's like,
really
why
is.
do we not do more of it?
Right.
Why do we not
Right.
just honestly express our feelings? And
Right.
I understand that there are toxic relationships. I get that there are people that you just, talking with them is maybe not worth it. Like, I do understand that.
Yeah. Right.
But what y'all did was set healthy expectations, and
Hmm.
and made sure that everyone had expressed their own, had said their piece and said, okay, this is what I want, this is what I want, but we'll do this over here. We'll keep Christmas the same as we can. And that, to me, it's like, okay, well, y'all created a healthy space to do that, and
Hmm.
that I think is really important. um
It it is. And I think it was important too for them
mhm,
because they were like, it was a time that this is a time we've never had our grandmother here. She was always present throughout their whole, I think with like 20, 30 years, they had a grandmother. And so it was very important that, we created all these memories and all that. And so they wanted to do that. But then too, now they're going into their adulthood.
mhm.
They're like, okay, Mom, now we're going to keep certain things sacred, the sacred things, but we want to introduce some new things. So we've been, we've always played games. We're that game family. We've always done that. We play little games. So we're introducing new games, and we have a grandbaby. So we're having, all the stuff. And so we're trying to do some new things. And now we have new persons in our life, which they're just I love the girls so much. So we're really blessed in the fact that we do interventions if we have to, or what have you. We need to do interventions. I'm like, where the heck did y'all come from? So they do interventions and they'll do conversations, and we need to have a talk. Wait, hold up. Who's the mom? Who's the parent here? But they'll have the talks and conversations like we need to get this together. But they've always been that way because it's like it's always been us when, because we're a military family, and when we travel, it was always just us. And then my mom. So it's very important for us to keep that family dynamic. Even when we have issues or what have you, it's always important that we just will let it settle, and then we'll come back together and talk about it, intervene and come back. So it's just something that we've always done. And even through the challenging holiday seasons, when my daughter, she married into a family that's bigger than ours. They're I didn't even know how to handle it. I was sitting here like, how many? You're talking about 30 people in my home? So that was huge for us. We were sitting here, how are we going to fit this many people? But we did it. So now when we host events or we have family things, we're having to move around um, the family. In their family, the thing is that we like to plan things. Everybody doesn't like to plan. So
Yeah.
that's another
Mhm.
thing that you have to say, okay, this is how we do things. Now, it's not that we're being we're just different. That's how we've done things. We like to plan things out so that we make sure that everybody has enough.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like to do that. So that was another issue that when we all got together, we were like, oh gosh, this is going to be challenging.
Yeah.
But we worked it out, and it was enough and it worked itself out. But there was that holiday drama
Yeah.
that comes with learning another family and welcoming. I mean, it was seriously like, what was it? My Greek wedding. It's like all of that. It was all of that. I was like, we can just get to the end.
Yeah.
We're gonna rest for a couple of days. I mean, we were
I
all
bet.
exhausted. We were exhausted at the end, but when we got to the end and we did have a good time, it was just getting to the end. That was the end of sight. But so the holidays can be challenging in so many
Yeah.
ways.
And see, that's what can happen is it's like you're so focused on plan, get through it. It's like
Right.
how can we, actually be in the moment and enjoy. Like
Mhm.
Sherry Prather said, be where your feet are planted. She just
Right.
shared that with me.
Right.
And
Right.
it's like, well, how can you just, okay, I've done everything I can do at this point. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Right.
And how hard is it for us? Because if you're out there and you're like, well, I love for things to look a certain way, a lot of that has to go out the window. We have to learn
It
to let
does.
go of perfection or our view of perfection
Hmm.
and our expectations. Like it's good to want something to be nice or to be fun and to have like, certain things present. It's a good thing. There's nothing
It
wrong
is.
with that.
Hmm.
But when it takes our focus off of what is important, which is being with each other
Hmm.
and celebrating the season
Right.
and, really just remembering that we have a wonderful, majestic Savior,
Right.
and that is so important that those stay our focuses. And so when
Uh-huh.
we're worried about expectations not being met, we're worried about perfection, we're worried about, oh, I didn't have time to make this and this. Well,
Mhm.
I'll tell you right now, there's probably 5 different grocery stores that did have time to make it, and you can probably go buy it or pick it up or have it
Exactly.
delivered. So,
Exactly.
letting go of that, I think
Hmm.
sometimes we just have to.
Yeah.
It's good to have goals, but but sometimes it's just not realistic.
Yeah, when they say, man, if you want to hear God laugh, make a plan.
Right.
Right, because it's
Right.
like it's gonna go, and that's what you have to say. What is the reason for the season? The
Mhm.
reason of the season is to celebrate all the goodness that God has given you, right? And so when we had the such a we were so thankful that we could host it, first of all. It was just a little chaotic, but we were just like, listen, just come. We're not gonna what would you just come because we got tired of the last minute stuff, whatever it was. Okay, if it's not enough, it's just not gonna be enough. I can't worry about it at this point. And so, like I said, I just relinquished it. I can't. My husband was like, you know what? If they got to sit on the couch, they got to sit on the floor, sit in the chair. If we don't have enough, they just got whatever. And so, that's what we did. At the end, we was like, we're tired because it was just overwhelming. And like I said, we relinquished the control. And the thing is that it worked out. It worked itself out. And we had a great time. And like I said, just after we ate and everything like that, we just were going to be in the moment. Um, when you have people that are, um, his mother really trying to take control, like, nope, we're not going to do that. You're not going to come into my home and try to take control of the situation. We're going to do certain things. I had to put my boundary up and put my feet in the ground and say, no, this is what we're doing here. And after that, we had a great time.
Yeah.
But you're right. You have to remember the reason for the season, but you also have to put up your boundary, and then after that, just after that, have yourself a good time and remember what you did it for. You did it for everybody to get together, everybody to get to know each other, get to know the new family because we didn't really know everybody, and they had family come up from Florida,
Yeah.
and we didn't meet everybody.
Mhm.
So to get to know all of them, we're like, oh, well, this turned out to be really great.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be really great in the end.
And that is really cool that you did get to meet. You say that because immediately, let me back up. My mind goes to 35 people. Oh my gosh. I'm like tapping out mentally. I'm like, no,
Yeah, I was gone.
because I want, because again, it's like I want it to look a certain way, right? What I want
Right.
it to look like how it looked when I was a kid. It's not
Right.
realistic. It's not
Mm-hmm.
possible. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to be willing to let yourself shift with whatever the current situation is. And, on one hand, yes, that's a lot of people. It's very overwhelming. No one's denying any of that. And then also too, you also got to meet, you know, these
Mm-hmm.
these in-laws, these people that might potentially be in-laws, and the significance of their relationships, and that's a really neat outcome
Right.
of what y'all did.
Right. And they've been very, very good to my daughter.
Mhm.
So in at times, and they've gone to Florida for weddings and things like that. And I'm like, well, how's your mom? And we had a great time. I still remember that turkey, that type of thing. Y'all made the turkey. How'd you do?
Yeah.
So for them to remember that means that we gave them a great time and they remember that time. And that's what we wanted to do. Whenever someone comes to your home, you want to make them feel welcome. You want to make them feel welcome and be full when they leave. So that was what we wanted to do. That's what we asked God to do. And they left with that.
So if anyone out there is listening, and maybe they're sitting there thinking, okay, well, I don't even know how to maybe even initiate some of those conversations. Like maybe they do need to start setting some healthy boundaries. Maybe they're like, I do want to have open and honest conversations with family. And we're not like trying to start any family feuds here right now.
Right, right.
But maybe someone really is listening thinking, I want to have open communication and I don't know how to start that. Or maybe they're thinking, I do struggle with perfectionism, and I get so wrapped up in all of the things that I no matter what I do, I can't seem to enjoy the work that I put out there. It's like it happens and then it's gone, and I can't be present. I don't know how to do that. What would you could you give them some basic, like, this is what I've done, or this is what I recommend, or what I've heard? Like, could you offer up some advice for them?
When you're planning that, because like especially if you're a planner and you want everything a certain way, because I'm that way too. I really like when you come in, I want it to look nice. I want it to be nice. Everything has to be a certain way. Just do that for yourself, because that's what you're presenting. Because when they're coming to your home and you're inviting them to your space, you do want your space to look nice no matter what, right? My friend and I talk about that all the time, because she's the same way. She likes to have it very nicely well put out, whether people enjoy it or not, or respect it or not. That's what we want to do, right? And when you do that, then you just make sure that you step back and then you just enjoy the time. And that's kind of hard to do because we're so uh we just want it to really go well. And things are just gonna happen. And like you said, you gotta just allow it to happen and take your deep breath and be like, whew, and woosah, and just really say, okay, what is going, start talking to the family, talking to the people, and just really mingle and enjoy that time, because it's going to go by fast. The couple of hours or few hours that you have is going to go by fast. And just enjoy the time. If you do your drinks, if you do whatever, and just socialize and try to just be in that moment, because those are the moments that you're going to remember. Like I remember that moment like it was yesterday, like it was yesterday. And it was fun. We sat, and it was funny because we got kicked out of our own table. We had to sit at the side table. But we didn't say anything. And my kids were like, now how we get sit at the other table, mama? But we're supposed to be over here. I was like, your grandmama is over there talking to the grown folks. So let's sit over here at the other side. It was funny. We just laughed about it. We were like, how did we get over here? And we just it was seriously all the kids, even my daughter and us. We were like, how are we over here? We just laughed it off and just laughed the whole time. So in that time, we just laughed and just had a good time and said, oh, this is really good food and stuff like that. Now they were having a conversation over there, but we were all into this conversation, right? Talking across the room. And that made us just be into the moment. And so that's what you have to kind of pull yourself into. And even if you're having Like if you have a challenging person, a dominant person in that family, which we all have. And it's really challenging to really talk to that person. Um, Sometimes you have to put your boundary up. You have to put your boundary up with that person because they will try to push in like that person did for me. And I was like, no. That time I did have my mom, but mom was like, girl, look, this is her home and you respect her home, that type of thing. And sometimes you have to do that to get that respect. And it's all about being respectful because they're so used to being in control and in charge of everything and everything in that space. But you also have to say, listen, this is my home, and be respectful of that. And let's enjoy ourselves, right? We're
You
all
were
here to
that
have a good
candid.
time.
It was just a
Yes.
very
It
candid.
was just like, yeah, I had to be because that person was that direct. And
Okay.
it had to be said, no, we're not gonna do that. My husband, he left to go get something and she wanted to start without him. I'm like, no, you're not gonna start without my husband being present in his own home.
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to pull back for a moment and let him come back with the roles, whatever we had to go get, and then we'll start. So when those moments happen, unfortunately you have to be direct. And then we have a great time, right? And then we're gonna have a great time, with a smile. And that's just family because you have people that come from different dynamics, different all everything. And after we did that and we put that boundary up, we were fine,
Yeah.
and then we were all able to have a great time. So it's not that you're not going to have all these challenging moments or what have you, but it's just that listen, we're here to put it in the work to get to know one another
Mm-hmm.
because we're tied together now.
Yeah.
We're tied together. It's there's nothing that's not going to happen that we're not going to be there because my daughter married your son. We're going to be together. My my son married your daughter. We're together now. So we have to learn to work this out.
Mm-hmm.
And are you willing to do that with me?
Yeah.
And each time that you're with that person or you're dealing with that person, you already know their personality. So, okay, this is what we're going to have to do to make this work. And we're going to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And once you get to know who the people are,
Mm-hmm.
I think that breaks down so many barriers and walls. It's because you now I know what they're made of,
Right.
what made them this way, right? And now you can say, oh wow, now I see why you are this way. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move on and let's build a relationship.
So a couple of things that have stood out to me in what you said are that it's something called mirroring and matching, and you probably are aware of this, and it goes back to like personality styles. And you said
Mhm.
that she is like a high, if you're doing like the disc, she's like a drive, a high D, it sounds like, maybe. And so you were very direct with her, and she respects that because that's how she communicates.
Right.
And a lot of times, if we can try to mirror and match someone else's personality when we're communicating with them, if we're trying to, maybe there's a potential conflict or potential for conflict, and you're wanting to really connect with that person, you have to mirror that person. It's a sign of respect. It's a sign of truly wanting to communicate with them. And so that is very important. I'm glad you brought that up. The other part of it is something I heard in counseling and marital counseling, because my husband and I have been in premarital counseling, and then we've gone to counseling like a couple of times, after
Hmm.
we were married, just kind of here and there. And one of the things he said, I think it was in the premarital counseling, was that always assume that his motives are good. Always
Mm.
assume that his
Hmm.
motives are good, that his heart is good, that it's coming from a place of wanting something good. He may not be
Right.
expressing it well. He may not
Right.
be.
Right. Right.
He may be upset, and it may be coming out as anger or
Hmm.
frustration,
Hmm.
or maybe it's coming out as wanting to take over, or it's maybe being disregarding of that's not a really good way to say it, but disregarding someone else's feelings.
Hmm.
But if we can assume that their motives are good, then it will help us to emotionally step back from the situation, and
Hmm. I
and
get
kind
you.
of help us to not take so much offense, and whether it's true or not, right?
Right.
If we
Right.
operate under that assumption, then at least we can get through that moment, hopefully better, and it
Mhm.
will not feel as yucky, I guess is a way you can say that.
Right.
Hopefully that makes sense because,
It does.
like, it's like giving the beggar money on the street, you know,
Hmm.
regardless of what they do with it. If you feel like you're supposed to give that beggar money,
Right.
you give them
Hmm.
money. You're just obedient
Exactly.
to the call of what you feel is on your heart. It doesn't matter
Exactly.
what they do with it. This is
Right.
kind of the same concept. It's you assume that they have good intentions. You still have the healthy boundary.
Hmm.
You just assume that they're coming from a good place and that their heart is good. It's just not in alignment with what you need right now. And that
Right.
it's your home, you keep that boundary, and then you just move forward. And it's okay. Like, it's okay.
Right. And you just going about your day because you still have to, what is the gap in the game? You kind of saying, okay, this is the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not really being a mean person. Like I said, and I'm coming from a good space too.
Yeah.
I'm coming from a good space because I still want us to have a great time, right? And I want to make sure that you're having a good time. But I also need you to know that this is how things are done here. You
Yeah.
know, that type of thing. So she got it.
Yeah.
And so and know that I wasn't being disrespectful. And she knows that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love you, you
Yeah.
know, but and I'm glad that you're here, but I'm not gonna do that, you
Yeah.
know, for that. And she was looking out for her side, and I was looking out for my side. And it was just coming from a good place
Mhm.
on both ends.
So I'm really curious, a lot of people around, especially around the holidays, struggle with just depression or some form of like just blues or anxiety or depression around the holidays. It just brings around for them not a joyous time, but really the opposite. And knowing your story around anxiety and depression, how did you take on all of these extra responsibilities over the last 2 years? I mean, what did you do to manage this?
I did a lot of I prayed a lot.
Mm,
Um, I medicated. Um, I leaned heavily on my husband
yeah.
and my children. They were really there for me a lot, you know, because it was just like say for instance with the party of 35, they were like, we're here for you, mom. We got you. Um, and they were. I mean, they were in all corners. I mean, watching me like, what do we need to do next? What is here? Okay, do you need what? You need ice? You need this? You need whatever. They were, I mean, top performance for me for that whole day because they knew that it was going to be a lot for me, and I appreciated them for that. So in all those situations, I've always had my family to kind of like back me up or for me. And whenever I went to the holiday season, I always do have to plan. I have to plan it out or know what we're doing um kind of ahead of time so that I can kind of prepare myself. It is a way that I know that okay, what do y'all want to eat or what to have? But also too, like you mentioned before, my husband always was telling me, you don't have to make all of that. We can go pick that up somewhere. And that took a lot off of me, a lot. So he's like, we can just go buy a cake. We can go buy this. We can, a couple of holidays, we even went and had found someone to make us the turkey and stuff like that. So I don't have to deal with that or a ham, whatever I needed. And you just make this. You know, I just made a couple of sides because I just was either a lot. I have a lot of pains and aches and pains that comes with it, with the whole thing, with my anxiety and depression, where I can't really stand for long periods of time. So I have to, when I cook, I have to sit and stuff like that. So he's like, well, I don't want you to do all that standing and things. We don't need to have all of that. It's just, you know,
Mhm.
us now. And so those are the plannings that I do now. I make, I have to depend on the outside things or simple things now. But if I want to have like the good old Christmas, like where everything's from scratch, I have to do it really ahead of time. I have to really plan it out. And then the kids will come in and say, okay, mom, we have this side and my daughter have that, or whatever. So I don't have to fully cook everything. And so when I think about things, and sometimes I really am good, and what I'm really working on with my counselor is I compartmentalize everything
Mhm.
and I disconnect.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if other people do that where I can not think about it and I don't feel it. And it's like I've done it for so long that I didn't know that I was doing it until I went to started my counseling. And so I don't think about it until later, till after the fact. And so that's when I'll have moments of my depression sets in or what have you. But at the time, I won't really think about it because I'm with my family, with the kids or something like that. So I really have to check in with myself. So when you're at the holiday time, check in with yourself a lot and see where you are. And then another thing I wasn't doing that I want people to do is not only check in with yourself, but ask yourself how you're feeling and allow yourself to feel it because I wasn't allowing myself to feel. I wasn't allowing myself to grieve. I wasn't allowing myself to do any of that. And that was causing more anxiety where I couldn't breathe or function. So make sure that you're checking on yourself. And if you need to journal it out, which is something that I'm supposed to be doing every day because I live in my head space. My head space is not always it gets cluttered.
Mhm.
So I need to journal it out every day to really get, and especially during the holiday season when everything is so hectic, you have to find time to just sit and be still for a moment because it's the rat race. We're trying to find gifts, we're trying to do stock stuff, we're trying to do that, trying to make the house look pretty, you're trying all of that. So you really have to find time to sit down with yourself. If it's your moments with God in the morning or in the evening, because I do it really in the evening, and I talk to him throughout the day to kind of keep me centered. And then when I find myself really bad, I have to sit for a moment and just really get clear. If you have to do that to get through the season, do that because you always have to check in with yourself. If not, you will get away from yourself. And then that's when I'm medicating, right? And so that is something that I really want everybody to do during the holiday season because it gets to be so much. And especially if I call it the empty seat. When you have the empty seat of someone that you love and they're no longer there, and you think about that, allow yourself to feel it, grieve it, and then be thankful for the memories that you have for them. Um, Celebrate them the best you can for that time, and bring up the memories because we always do like, Lord, Mama was here. Oh, goodness gracious, what was she be doing that? Child, she be talking trash, blah blah blah. And then you have that moment, and then you have your moments with your family and make the new memories
Yeah.
because that's what we have to do. We have those memories that we hold dear to our heart, but we have to continue to move on, and that's something that I had to learn how to do. But I didn't know how to do it with my mom. I've been doing it for so many years, but I was blessed to have her for 52 years. So that was such a blessing because some people didn't have it. My husband lost his mother at 17. So, and he lost his grandmother in his early 30s. So he had lost two pivotal people in his life early. And once I lost my mother, because she was dear to him too, we were like, ooh, a whole top echelon is gone. So when you have those times, you just really be thankful for the times you have, but also be thankful that you're still here and just take time out and just pause. That's what you have to do. And that's what I have to remember to do too, because you never know when you'll wave because anxiety and pressure comes in waves. And sometimes you have a good wave and sometimes you have that bad wave. And you have to make sure that you're riding that wave good as best you can. But when it really hits, that's when you have to use your tools. And that's when you're grounding. That's when you're journaling. That's when you're walking. That's when you're doing all those things. And even if you have to medicate, and stay in prayer because those are the things that have kept me, and still keep me. And especially during the holiday season coming up, I mean, it's going to be here before you know it. I mean, they already have Christmas trees up. So, we're already in it. So just and plan as best you can. as best you can if you're a planner, and don't get overwhelmed with the planning.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to roll with it. And if it doesn't get done, it just doesn't get done.
Right.
And it's okay that it doesn't get done.
Yep. Sure. I love that you said to take those moments and be still, because that's my word for the year is Rafa, which is to be still.
Mhm.
And so it's very significant for me, and a good reminder just that yes, you have to take those moments, especially when you're starting to feel like when you feel like you aren't breathing, when you like take a breath and you're like,
Mhm.
have I breathed in 5 minutes? Like this
Right.
feels like the first breath I've taken in a while.
Right.
That's like a cue.
It is. Yes. Thank you.
You need to stop. You need to calm down. You
Right.
need to go put yourself in timeout and take a minute, go
Right.
watch a Christmas movie, or
Yes.
go or some sort of holiday special, Garfield,
Right.
Charlie Brown, and all the fun things. And so,
Yeah.
but I love that. I love that it's just like disconnect from the season,
Hmm.
reconnect with yourself and God,
Hmm.
and you're grounding yourself in that, in the prayer,
Right.
in the quietness, in the stillness, and then okay, get back up and then just do whatever needs to be done next.
Right.
It's so practical and just so true. I mean, it is really, honestly, it's what we need to do all year long. But I think, especially around the holidays, it is just so important because we can get so distracted
Right.
about all of the things, the parties and the gifts and all of the material stuff that is just so,
Yes.
so not important.
It's not important, and it's so practical, but we forget to do it
We don't do it. Mm-hmm.
because it's so easy for us to do, but you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do here? And then, like you said, I got, what was it, Christmas in July. I just sat there the whole time and watched the Hallmark channel was on the whole time. I was like, oh goodness gracious. It was just a great time, a great feeling. And then like I get into, like I said, my music. I love music. And I just play whatever comes to mind because I have different playlists that I'm creating, and create a playlist to listen to. I do lately. I've been dancing around the whole house. Don't know why, but I've been doing that and I've been enjoying myself. And so those are some other things that you can use too to just really get out of your funk, because we get into, like you say, did I breathe today? I
Yeah.
haven't breathed in the last 5 minutes. What?
Right.
And now
Right.
my head is, what in the world? My head's spinning. I need to go lay down for a minute.
Yes.
Those types of things. And I need to take a 15-minute what is it? Pep me up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I need to go put myself in timeout. Yeah.
exactly. I need to go sit down. And so you have to do that. And
Yes.
I think we forget that when we're so busy,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have a young one. And then you have the young ones, and you have, your podcast, and you're doing this and you're doing all these things, and like, and then you're taking care of household and your husband, and you're doing all the things, and then you forget, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Then you start having that. And so
Then what you said about like you've been dancing around the house and you're having so much fun, and what came to my mind was like that's very, this is not an insult. That's very childlike behavior. It's
yeah,
very like just joy.
it's
And so
joy,
I
pure
had the
joy.
thought come in my head. It's like if you have littles, if you're out there listening, you have littles and you're like,
Hmm.
I have a ministry and I have littles, and then I'm supposed to do all of the holiday stuff.
Hmm.
Well, in those moments where you're feeling like the walls are coming in, you feel backed into a corner, you're like, I can't do it all. And you're feeling like just all of this heavy stuff, and you shouldn't because it
Right.
shouldn't at that point, but it
Right.
does. I know
Right.
it does. And go look at your children. If you're in your house or wherever they are, go look at them and look at what they're doing.
Right.
Watch them and then join them. I don't care
Yes.
what it is. I don't care if they're playing with blocks. I don't care if they're
Hmm.
giggling and having a pillow fight. I don't care if they're go turn
Hmm.
on music and dance with them. We have dance parties at our house with the
Oh,
kids.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. So go play with your kids. Take 30
Yes.
minutes and go play with them, and do not think
Absolutely.
about anything else. Just have fun with them and reconnect with
Yes.
them, because
Yes.
kids are a wonderful way of remembering what it really is like to just have fun.
Just have fun.
Just have fun. And
Pure.
if you're doing something and it's getting to the point where you're not having fun, don't do it.
Yes. Don't do it,
Just don't
because
do
it's not worth it.
it. Mm-mm.
It's like, I mean, kids have pure joy. They're just
Yes.
pure, just pure. And you're sitting there, like when I talk, even though my kids are grown now, I remember we still just have a ball, even though they're laughing at me now. I'm like, you know what? I can't stand y'all. But I have so much fun with them little jokers now. I'm like, I cannot stand y'all. Just because you 22 and you 29 don't mean that, but I have fun with them.
Hmm.
And it's like, and I can remember when they were young and playing with toys and
Yeah.
we sitting there watching Paw Patrol and when or whatever the thing, whatever it was. And my daughter was Barney, and she had all the Barney, she had everything Barney. Her whole room was Barney. Then on the other side, it was Barbie. I was like, I'm so sick of Barney and Barbie, the pink owl. I was sick of the pink owl. But if you remember all of that stuff, you will laugh. And I'm like, we talk about that so much. I said, child, you stayed down the pink owl. You stayed down the Buzz Lightyear owl. You stayed down and you remember that fun they're just pure fun. And they get around each other and it's just all day long. I'm like, y'all are so just but I love them to pieces, and they do. When I talk to them all the time, they just pep me up. And they're in their 20s and their mid 20s and stuff, and they're still that way. But they're so responsible and so much. And we just even when we're playing like Uno, reverse Uno, they're still cracking me up. We have
Don't
so much
get
fun.
serious, man.
It gets serious. They are serious about their games, man. And I'm sitting here like, what is going on? But they're serious about their games and the reverse Uno and the other thing. I'm like, hold up, in Monopoly, we were playing Monopoly and all stuff like that. And my son's like, I'm the king of Monopoly. I'm like, no, you're not. But when you have spend time with your babies, that is such a blessing because they are given to you by God, and there are
Yes.
little yous and
Yes.
their personalities, and you see the differences in them. And they, when my darkest times, they gave me joy,
Oh,
and I
yes.
told them that all the time. You were my light in my darkest times. They would just come and just sit on, Mom. And so, what you doing? Are you going to get up? Are you tired? What's going on with you? They just sit down, and I was like, okay, I will get up. Come sit down and eat with us. You're gonna eat. I'm just gonna eat on us. What you gonna do? And they were like teenagers then. Come and eat dinner. We're not gonna do anything. You're gonna come eat with us. We don't sit in here and they bounce on my bed. I was just like, oh my God, what are you gonna do? They bounce on my bed. Come on, get up. You gotta get up. They were my joy. So I understand what you're saying. They just are pure joy. So if you have that time and you have that relationship with you, even though they're grown now, I can barely get them to text me sometimes, but when they do, it's fun. So, yes, I totally agree with that. I love it because I'm just like now I'm dancing around the house. I'm like, what in the world is going on with me? But I love it, and I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna stop.
And music is too, like I adore music, and especially like Christian music. I that's about 95% of what I listen to now, just
Mhm.
because it lifts me up so much.
Yes.
And if I'm having like a bad morning or a bad day, or
Mhm.
I'm just like I need an attitude adjustment, then
Yes.
I if I remember and think about it, I turn it on, and it
Mhm.
helps. It does help a lot.
I remember a lady told me, she was telling me at least listen to it 15 minutes a day. If you got 15 minutes a day, do that. Listen to the word, your spiritual music,
Yeah.
and then it'll get you going. I'm like, yes, I can do that. So that's what I've been doing.
As we wrap today, what is like one thing that you would want to share? Or maybe if someone was sitting in front of you, like what would you want to say to them if they were just needing a word of encouragement? Or what would be that one thing that you would want to share with them?
Keep going,
Mm,
no matter, you know, no matter how long it takes you to do something or get well or get through the holiday season or whatever, just keep going.
yeah.
Um, there's no pace to this.
Mm-mm.
There's no pace to anything. Um, don't let people tell you what your pace is,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm finding on my own now. You do it at your own pace because when you try to do it at someone else's, it's not going to work.
Not gonna work.
You have to do it at your time and your pace. And just remember to keep giving yourself some grace,
Yes.
give yourself some time outs,
Yeah.
you know, and love on yourself a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
because we don't do that a lot, especially as women. We don't do that. We love on everyone else, but we don't love on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it takes us to have issues or problems to realize that we're not doing it right. So just remember to do that.
Yeah. I think that's so good. Going at your own pace. And I was going to say the same thing too, because about the grace is that we're talking about some hard things to do, like
Hmm.
having, setting hard boundaries, boundaries, having appropriate expectations,
Mm-hmm.
all of these things, managing like any depression or anxiety or anything. If you struggle with that during the holidays, those are some
Mm-hmm.
heavy things. Those are hard
Heavy
things.
things.
You're
Heavy
not going to
things.
get it right all the time, and you're not going to get it right
Nope.
immediately.
Nope.
And it's okay. Like
It's okay.
you are a work in progress, like all the rest of us.
All
And
the time.
we're all trying to figure this
All the
out. We're
time.
all having good days. We're all having bad
Right.
days. I know I'm going to have a meltdown. Like I know that the holidays
Right.
are going to get to me and I'm going to have to refocus and recenter. I know I'm going to get my
Exactly.
priorities shifted and I'm going to have to shift them back. Like it's okay.
It's
That's
okay.
part of it. You're just learning and like the rest of
Mm-hmm.
us. And so the only thing I'm going to add to that is just having fun. And when
Exactly.
I think that's like out of what we've talked about today, when you think about it, I'm like, yes, having fun. If it's not
Have
fun,
fun.
don't do it.
Exactly. If it's not, do not
If it's
do
not
it.
fun, do not do it.
The foot is down. The foot is down. I am
The
not
foot
doing it.
is down.
I'm not doing it.
I am not doing it. If it is not fun, if it does not bring me joy right now, and I
Right.
can't be joyful, because
Exactly.
then I'm gonna make other people not have fun. Then
Absolutely.
I am just not gonna do it.
I'm
And
not doing it.
I think that's really important. So
It's very important.
I love that. I love that. Oh, Shannon, thank you. I've loved having you back on.
You're so welcome.
So much fun.
Thank
I
you
hope
for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season with
You
your
too.
family, with all of these
Yes.
extended family. It'll be good.
It will be great. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. If anyone has any prayer requests right now, suggestions for next season, I would love to hear from you. Please reach out to me at onecalledmama@gmail.com. Have a blessed rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon.